My name is Eugene Feygelman, and I am a competitive Pro-Am drifter. I have been drifting a little over 9 years and have all kinds of experience. I started as a simple grassroots driver with the 240 SX with a welded diff and coilovers and 100 horsepower on a good day, and just started having a lot of fun. After a while, a lot of my friends pushed me to start competing because they, told me that I was kind of wasting my talent, and I was dumb enough to listen. So I started building cars and working on my skills and my talents to really get to the next level. I got different cars. I started competing in an Infiniti Q45 and did pretty well. But it was at a point where that car wasn't competitive enough. So then I started building my current car, which is a 1989 Nissan 240SX truck. It's very unique as a car because it was a hatchback, but since converted into a truck, and now it's a really competitive, really serious car, and I'm very excited about it. After I got the car, I started developing the suspension, then I moved on to making it look a little bit nicer, and finally I moved on to getting a good power plant. Currently, the car has an LS1 turboed engine in it and is making 611 horsepower and 635 foot-pounds of torque at the wheel. It's got Wisefab suspension, yellow speed coilovers, yellow speed brakes. It's been tuned by Patterson Performance. It's got Patterson Performance seat harnesses, and it's been wrapped by Beyond Mention. A lot of the bodywork has been done by SFP Aero, who does phenomenal custom fiberglass, and it's a great path. It's definitely not easy. It takes a lot of time and a lot of dedication, a lot of money as well. It's a very difficult path because to be competitive, you have to invest a lot and you don't get anywhere near as much back. So it's a one-sided relationship. It takes a lot of effort and it's exhausting, to be completely honest. But for the love of the sport, I just can't give up. I have to keep working on it, work on myself as a driver, work on the car. And really my plan is to go pro, get my professional license, and continue to grow as a driver, as a competitor, continue to build cars, continue to grow the sport, and eventually even give back to the sport just as much as the sport gave me. I work really hard at it, and I put almost everything I have into it. It affects the entire path of my life. It's quite the sacrifice, but it's an experience like nothing anyone that hasn't done it will ever understand. It's an adrenaline rush. It's a sense of fulfillment that is just uncomparable. To deliver a fantastic run, to get on someone's door, to fill the zone, to hit the inner clip, to tap it with your bumper but not knock it over, is just such a feeling of achievement and success that there's nothing on the planet like it. And as much as I put into it and as difficult as the path has been, I would never change any part of it. I would continue to do it, and I would do it over and over again, and I still do. Because I love the sport. It's so much fun, and it's great people, great times, great adventures, and this is just the beginning. So I started my drifting career in the Bay Area in California. I was fortunate enough to go to a lot of local events, go to a lot of different series, meet a lot of pro drivers, and get the opportunity to pit for Farouk Kouai, who's a very good buddy of mine and a professional drifter. So I picked up a lot of information, a lot of technique, a lot of knowledge, and it really helped me grow myself. A little bit after that, this very fun event happened called COVID. COVID shocked my life quite a bit, as so many people in America and so many people around the world. It caused a standstill, and it was difficult. In that time, it forced myself and my fiance to move to Texas because we could not survive in California under those conditions. And so we moved to the DFW area in Texas. And honestly, probably one of the best things I've ever done in my life. I love it here. The people are amazing. And this is where I live now. And I don't know that that's going to change anytime soon. But with that came a little bit of time off and having to readjust to a new place. And now it's 2022, and I'm finally in a position where I can reinvest and give drifting another real shot and put everything I have into it. And now I am competing to get my professional license again. And the place I'm doing that is luckily not too far from me, only a couple hours, in Oklahoma. Oklahoma hosts a very fun, very interesting event called Full Lock Drift, which is a Formula D licensing series, meaning at the end of the series, the top 3 drivers will get a professional license so that they can move on into the Formula Drift Prospect League. This is the steps that you have to take to become a pro driver. I am going into the first round, and I'm very excited about it. It's been a long build-up, but the car just got tuned about a month ago. It's running unbelievably well, and we're going to see if it can survive the weekend and how well I can place and where I stack up. So Full Lock Drift Pro-Am Round 1 is at a racetrack called Oklahoma Motor Complex, or OMC, and I've never been to this track. I've never even seen this track in person. I've done a lot of research, watching videos and looking up photos, but it's a go-kart track, which means it's really small and very technical, and bringing a 600 horsepower turbocharged car to a small technical track that you've never been to is quite a challenge. So I'm going to see if I can pull it together. So we got to the track and finally got to do a walk around and a parade lap, and it really is a very small and extremely technical track that is going to test everything that I know from my experience. So we went into practice. Practice was very difficult for me. I had planned to do 8 runs of practice to get the lead line down, and I could not deliver. I had a lot of difficulty finding reference points throughout the track to figure out where to initiate, how to hold the line, which techniques to use, and this caused me going off track multiple times. On top of that, there was some gremlins with the car, with the setup. The car was very loose, so it was hard to get the right amount of speed while I'm getting used to the car and the track. The first day, Saturday, we got about 10 runs, but our practice was ended short due to alternator issues. So going into Sunday, I had no confidence in myself or the car. Nothing was really feeling well. I didn't have the line down. It was a rough night. We stayed up late getting the car good and showed up Sunday morning first thing to try to finish off and deliver what we could. Sunday morning, we only had 2 hours of practice. We got the car running, we filled it up, everything. The car seemed to be okay. Now it was time to finally start dialing myself in. We did everything we could within the 2 hours, but I only got maybe 1 or 2 really good runs where I understood the track. So going into qualifying was stressful because I didn't have the confidence that I wanted to, because I didn't have enough good practice to deliver a good qualify run. So it was time to qualify. I'm not feeling well in the car, I'm not feeling confident, and it's almost 90 degrees outside. I'm in full suit, I'm sweating, dripping. It is probably one of the most unpleasant situations I've ever been in. I was stressed out, nerves were there, and I line up. It was time to do what I can, and so I did my best to clear my mind, get out of my head. I spent a minute right before lining up with my eyes closed in the driver's seat, reflecting on the track, picturing every corner, picturing the technique that I was going to use to try to get through the track. And I line up, and the starter sends me. And for whatever unbelievable reason, everything connected. I found a zen moment. I found a good place. And I was able to qualify second.
Second qualifier?
Yeah.
What the? Oh, watch out. Huh?
Hey, Vadim got 88, Josh Weiss got 90, you got 89.
Mother bitch! No, I'm just kidding. Oh.
I told you, bruh.
Oh, God.
Yeah, buddy.
I drove my ass off.
That's the best man out there.
Oh, boy. Woo! Yeah! Fuck! Yeah! Woo!
The maximum qualifying points was 90. I got 89 points. I only lost 1 point in qualifying because of, I think, style. But honestly, I almost got maximum points. I only lost by 1 point to Mr. Jake Wise, who is a phenomenal driver, and he got a perfect score. But the biggest victory was that I beat a very good buddy of mine, Vadim, by 1 point.
Fuck you, Eugene. Fuck him.
Vadim's a little bit mad.
Here's your point.
Why is he so mad?
He's mad because I just came back from doing my qualify run. I got an 89, which put me as the second qualifier behind Jake Weiss, who's a pro driver. I feel good as I can. Really, the real victory here is that I beat Vadim, who's honestly, in my opinion, very possibly a better driver, has a phenomenal car, but I feel amazing. In 89, second qualifier, I went out there, I sent it full send. It felt so natural, so good. I'm feeling great. So, oh, what a day, what a rush.
Woo!
Let's do this! Ah!
So I qualified second place, which moves me into competition. Competition is a top 16 battle where the top 16 drivers of qualifying go against each other in a tournament style bracket. And I was fortunate enough to be able to move on to top 8 right from the beginning because I had what's called a bye run, meaning there was the driver for me to compete against to move into top 16 was not there. So I move on into top 8. I moved on to the next level of the bracket. In the bracket, I met Chris Leonard in top 8, who is a phenomenal driver, and he drove like it. He has a lot of experience at that track. He's already gotten his pro license, so he was definitely an amazing guy to go against, and we battled. It was a pretty close battle. We both made mistakes in lead and chase, but I had a very sizable mistake in my chase run. tight corner of the track, and I unfortunately had scrubbed too much speed, causing my car to straighten out. And that is what gave Chris Leonard the win. Well deserved, and I did not make it past top 8, and he moved on into the final 4. With how drifting works, I ended up in 6th place. Because I was the second qualifier, I had the second highest score in qualifying, and then I made it to the top 8 bracket. That puts me behind Jay Wise, or Jake Wise, who qualified first and also made it to the top 8 bracket. And that's where I ended. And that was the end of my round 1. So 6th place, not too bad. So it was a long weekend, a lot of trials and tribulations, working out driving problems, the problem with the driver, the hardest problems to figure out, but learned a lot, got experience on the track, got more comfortable with the car, found some more issues with the car, but now we know what to do. The next step is going to be doing a rear mount radiator setup on the car because it was running a little bit too hot. So the goal is to try to get that done before round 2, and really reflect a lot, got a lot of new knowledge, a lot of experience, and really excited to move into round 2 and utilize as much of that as I can.